thanks for joining us. I'm Linda Kincaid. Welcome to CNN Newsroom. We begin with the US president reacting to the latest major turn in the Russia investigation. Former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn now cooperating with Special Counsel Robert Mueller after pleading guilty to lying to the FBI. Well, the US president has been working to put distance between himself and his former National Security Advisor. Michael Flynn, as we were just discussing, is now the top White House official to cooperate with the Special Counsel's Russian probe. But as our Tom Foreman reports, he was once Donald Trump's right-hand man.
The next president of the United States, right here.
On the campaign trail, Michael Flynn seemed a true fan of Donald Trump, and the admiration mutual as the candidate courted votes from the military community.
We have tremendous military support, unbelievable military support. And having, as you know, General Flynn here and having so many of the generals at our side. In fact, where is General Flynn? He's around here someplace.
Flynn was once a member of Barack Obama's team and a top military intelligence officer. Then he fell out of favor, he was fired, and by the summer of 2015, he had done an odd about-face and began talking to Republican candidates. And when he met Donald Trump, I knew he was going to be president of the United States.
For Donald J. Trump to be the next president of the United States.
Flynn began advising the campaign in early 2016. By the time of the Republican convention that summer, he was leading the chance against Democrat Hillary Clinton.
Lock her up. That's right. If I did a tenth of what she did, I would be in jail today.
On Twitter, Trump praised Flynn's book on how to defeat radical Islam. And 10 days after winning the election in November, he chose Flynn as his national security advisor. Flynn took the job in January after the inauguration.
Yes, General Flynn does enjoy the full confidence of the president.
Then it all unraveled. Flynn admitted he misled the Trump team about his Russian communications.
At some point, that trust eroded to a point where the president did not feel comfortable.
Still, even as Flynn was given the boot and the Russia investigation swirled, the president seemed reluctant to let him go.
When I looked at the information, I said, I don't think he did anything wrong. If anything, he did something right.
Tom Foreman, CNN, Washington.
Well, the Russian ambassador named in the charge against Michael Flynn spoke to our Matthew Chance back in August. Matthew joins us now from Moscow. And of course, it just gives a sense of the reaction there, Matthew, from some of the lawmakers. And perhaps what we've seen so far, not surprising, given Russia has continued to deny interfering in the US election.
Yeah, they do continue to deny that. You're right. And so far, there's been no reaction from the Kremlin or from the Russian Foreign Ministry. But there have been some other Russian lawmakers that have sort of gone to social media and voiced their opinions when it comes to these dramatic developments in the United States over the confession, essentially, of Michael Flynn, the former National Security Advisor, that he did speak with Sergei Kislyak, the former Russian ambassador to the United States. But again, they're carrying on down this line that this is kind of fake news. They're not using that expression on this occasion. They're saying that Michael Flynn is a scapegoat. This is an attack on the president, President Trump. One of the senators who spoke on social media about this issue said it was a, quote, sack of smoke and all hype. And so, again, the Russian reaction to this, or as much of the Russian reaction that we've had so far, is that this is being much ado about nothing, which is very much the kind of line they've been pushing really from the outset of this crisis.
And Matthew, as I mentioned, you managed to track down the Russian ambassador at the center of all of this in August. Give us a sense of what he said.
That's right. I mean, this is a figure, Sergei Kislyak, who is incredibly difficult, let me tell you, to pin down on anything, certainly to track down physically. He was at the centre of all these allegations of collusion while he was the Russian ambassador to the United States, meeting with Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General, with Mike Flynn, with others in the Trump transition team as well. He always denied any wrongdoing, and he even denied to state television that any discussion of US sanctions against Russia was had between himself and his US counterparts. I pinned him down in Saransk, as a matter of fact, which is a city in the center of Russia, and tried to put some of those concerns to him. Take a listen. Hi, Mr. Ambassador. Quick question. Did you discuss lifting sanctions with any members of the Trump team when you were in the United States?
With your respect, I'm here to talk to Russian people.
I understand that. You say you've got no secrets.
I said everything I wanted prior to this.
Did you discuss opening secret channels with the Kremlin, with Jared Kushner, for instance?
I've said many times that we do not discuss the substance of our discussions with our American interlocutors, out of respect to our partners.
Fair enough, but when you met Donald Trump, the president, were you surprised when he disclosed secret information to you about Syria?
I'm not sure that I heard anything that would be secret. But it was a good meeting, and we were discussing things that were important to your country and to mine.
What about this allegation that you're a spy master, a spy recruiter?
Nonsense.
Did you attempt to recruit any members of the Trump administration?
You should be ashamed, because CNN is the company that keeps up pointing to this allegation. It's nonsense.
Well, it was US security officials, intelligence officials that made it, of course.
I've heard other statements by them, also by former head of the FBI who said that I was a diplomat. I had no reasons to doubt that he knew what he said. Okay.
Just one last question. What's your prediction for the future of US-Russian relations?
I'm afraid it's going to be difficult. And it's not because of us, it's because of the US political dynamics. The anti-Russian law certainly is not going to help Russian-American discussions and
Is it the
relations.
sanctions law?
It's a sanctions law, but sanctions as an instrument, it's basically a statement of being anti-Russian. That is the most important thing. And it's not going to be wished away. It's going to stay. It's going to spoil the ability of both countries to resume a normalcy in our relations. And normalcy in our relations is exactly what is missing.
Well, Sergei Kislyak there, pessimistic about the future of US-Russian relations. That was back in the summer, and I don't think the expectation for an improvement in the relations has got any better. What he did say, though, to Russian state media is that there was no discussion of sanctions. We now know from the Flynn confession that indeed sanctions were discussed directly between Michael Flynn and Sergei Kislyak.
Yeah, fascinating listening to that interview, Matthew, now in light of what we now know. Thank you very much. Matthew Chance in Moscow.